Good morning, I'm Maddie Jansen, and this is the podcast of 17 News at Sunrise. It's everything you need to know to start your day in about 15 minutes.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Right now at 5, up in flames. 2 people are without a home after a fire destroys their house. What firefighters say coming up.
And California is on fire. Massive and destructive infernos continue to burn up and down the state. And there's concern that the threat is far from over. What forecasters say about a new wind event that could be the worst so far this season.
Kern County's new crisis. This morning, county supervisors are set to discuss a resolution to Kern's homelessness problem. The solution, they say, could help address the problem. Coming up. Today is Tuesday, October 29th, 2019. I'm Alex Fisher.
And I'm Tabitha Mills in for Maddie Jansen. And let's get right to it. Let's talk about that weather and that forecast that's headed our way, Kevin.
Well, we are dealing with some air quality issues, that is for sure. You talked about the winds, and we're getting a little break in that. But, yeah, strong winds are expected to come back into the forecast tomorrow. You can see the air quality warning is in place for Fresno, Kern, and Kings and Tulare counties. And this is all of Kern County, including the mountain locations. They will see a little bit of a haze, and this expands even up to the north, up near the Fresno area as well. Now, we're also looking at red flag warnings. This will not be in effect until 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, but we will be looking at high fire danger once again. And once this is implemented tomorrow morning, it will be in place until midnight on Thursday. And that includes Bear Valley Springs, Frazier Park, Golden Hills, Tehachapi. So all of our Kern County mountains will be under a fire weather warning once again as we head into early tomorrow morning. 47 degrees for Bakersfield right now. It is definitely a chilly start for you. A northeast wind at 3 miles per hour. As we take a look at the day, starting out in the upper 40s. This afternoon we'll be right near 70 under those hazy skies. We're currently at 41 in Tehachapi, a northwest wind at 10, so you can see much calmer than what we've been seeing. And you can see here on our current winds, only a little bit of a breeze out in the desert, but we will see this pick up. As you can see here on the wind forecast, especially heading into tomorrow, and this model only goes through tonight at 9 p.m., and so you can see winds remain relatively light, but then they will pick right back up, and we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Upper 30s to start for you, so a cool start, and then we're looking at the upper 50s this afternoon. Winds out of the northwest between 13 and 15 miles per hour. We'll talk much more about your weather in a bit, but first let's get a check of the morning commute. We'll send that over to Alex.
All right, thanks so much, Kevin. Taking you outside for the first time this morning to the 99 at Airport Drive, and it's looking pretty clear on that side of town. We do have one crash being reported on the southbound lanes of the Lebec rest area, so just keep that in mind. No injuries reported here, which is good news, but if you're headed down there, just keep that in mind. And CHP is also just warning everyone that because of the wind events that we've been seeing over the past couple of weeks now, just take it easy, especially as you're headed over to the mountain passes, because gusty winds could make driving conditions just a little bit more difficult. Also, we've got some construction projects that are wrapping up this morning, as they typically do at around 5 a.m. So if you're headed out the door in just the next couple of minutes, keep that in mind, especially if you come up into a construction zone where there are workers, because they're wrapping things up this morning before the worst of the morning commute. We will have another check of your morning commute coming up in about 15 minutes. This morning, 2 people are without a home after a fire destroyed their house. Take a look at these intense flames from overnight. You can see flames shooting out of the roof. It all happened around 10 o'clock on Carl Lane. That's in a neighborhood off the 178 between Mount Vernon Avenue and Oswell Street. Bakersfield firefighters say 2 people who lived in the home safely escaped. No injuries were reported.
Now to the latest on the massive and destructive wildfires breaking out across the state. First is the Getty fire. Flames broke out early yesterday morning off the 405 freeway and Sepulveda Boulevard, not far from the Getty Museum. We showed you the harrowing live pictures yesterday morning on 17 News at Sunrise. So far, it has burned more than 600 acres. It's threatening 10,000 homes and businesses. Half a dozen houses have already been destroyed by the fire, and yesterday, part of the 405 freeway was shut down because of the fire. The lanes reopened around 7 last night, but CHP says the ramps were still shut down. Firefighters have not been able to report containment numbers yet.
And KGT is following the fires raging in our state closely. So here's a map of the fires that we've been following. We just told you about the latest on the Getty fire. And of course, the tick fire that started last week in Santa Clarita is nearly under control. That is the good news. But wind conditions calmed down over the weekend and helped fire crews get the upper hand. All evacuation orders have been lifted in that area. Now up to the north in the Bay Area, we're talking about the Kincaid fire that continues to burn. The Kincaid fire is so out of control, firefighters actually lost containment over the weekend, but containment is now at 15%. More than 70,000 acres have burned, and more than 100 homes and businesses have been destroyed at this point. On Sunday, CAL FIRE reported 2 firefighters were burned battling the blaze, one suffering serious injuries. Firefighters from across the country are in Sonoma, including 2 fire engines from the Bakersfield Fire Department.
And this morning, if you're heading out your door to school or work or whatever it may be, you want to take it easy. That's because the National Weather Service has issued an air quality alert. If you were in town this weekend, you saw just how bad the haze was from the smoke drifting into the Central Valley. Well, that's not the only problem. Officials say strong winds have also been blowing dust. They're warning everyone to be careful with how you spend your time outdoors. Right now, the air quality is in the moderate range for most areas of the county, but that could change. If you're with someone with lung disease or other respiratory issues, take it easy and avoid long-term exposure to the air.
And we're following a round of overnight power shutoffs, this time for Southern California Edison customers in Kern County. The areas affected are Tehachapi and unincorporated areas of Bear Valley Springs. More than 15,000 additional customers are under consideration. Statewide, 20,000 SCE customers are without power, and another 205,000 are under consideration statewide. No word on when the current outage may be restored. And PG&E is also considering another shutoff triggered by high winds in the forecast. Starting today, people across California will lose their power. Most of these areas are in the Bay Area, but this evening, people here in Kern County could see outages. Over the weekend, more than 600 customers in Lebec, Arvin, and Arvin were targeted in the shutoff, although that number was not that many people saw those power outages. PG&E says the winds could impact us later today and tomorrow. 32 counties across the state could lose power.
Now to a signature issue here at KGET, Kern's homelessness problem. Today, county supervisors plan to discuss a resolution that would declare a crisis in Kern County. Homeless shelters are at capacity, and the county wants to build a new low-barrier facility. It would have fewer requirements for homeless people to be admitted. It comes as the county grapples with a 118% increase in homeless adults from last year. The shelter would have services for veterans and people struggling with behavioral health issues and drug addiction. Declaring a homeless shelter crisis would help the county build and operate that new shelter. The county plans to use a building on O Street, just north of Golden State Avenue.
Yeah, I mean, for us here in downtown Bakersfield, we're seeing it. We've seen it for so long, but I'm starting to notice even in other areas of the city and county, just an increase as well.
There's certainly an issue out there, and hopefully we can find a resolution. Fire crews in Bakersfield had a big mess to clean up, and it had nothing to do with fires.
That's right. The crazy video coming up this morning on Sunrise.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News with Maddie Jansen, Alex Fisher, and Kevin Charette with your Pinpoint Doppler forecast. This is 17 News at Sunrise.
Welcome back. Powerhouse women continue to make history here in Kern County, and this latest milestone takes us through the Kern County Superior Courthouse doors.
Judge Colette Humphrey has been selected as the next assistant presiding judge who will assume the job alongside Judge Judith Dulcich. 17's Vanessa Dillon spoke with both to see how they reacted to making Kern County court history, as the duo are the first local female presiding and assistant presiding judges.
It's our new normal. More and more women across the country are proudly stepping into positions of power.
This is about positivity. This is not about tearing each other down.
History being made right before our eyes. Women inspiring young girls to be whoever they want to be. The momentum is strong in Kern County as 2 judges will make the court's history come 2020.
I never really even thought about the fact that we were 2 women in those positions. I knew she was our first female presiding and I was the second, but it never struck me. Nowadays, I think we just look around, and it's who can do the job and who will do it competently.
The announcement was made last week. For the first time in the court's history, both presiding judge and assistant presiding judge will be women.
For me, I'm excited about it because we're going to be working together. And I think she does a great job. Her management skills are amazing. So it's going to be fun to be working with her.
Both Judge Dulcich and Judge Humphrey humbly suggesting that perhaps times have changed, because at the end of the day, commitment and hard work can take you wherever you want to go.
Put your nose to the grindstone and work hard and treat other people with respect and kindness. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're male or female. You're going to be able to be successful at whatever you decide to do.
Both judges eager to work together and optimistic the news will inspire other women practicing law to rise up and continue to make history.
I think it's just that time when our generation has stepped up and said we can handle these positions, we want to handle these positions, and their leadership roles and management roles, and we can do them just as well as anybody else.
Vanessa Dillon, 17 News.
And the list of female leaders in the courthouse doesn't end there. The court's CEO, district attorney, public defender, county counsel, and city attorney are also women in leadership roles. Now to some incredible video of a ruptured fire hydrant in central Bakersfield. Take a look. This ruptured fire hydrant gushing water onto Buck Owens Boulevard was the cause of a lot of chaos last night. It happened just before 7 o'clock. And according to Bakersfield police, a Chevy truck hit the hydrant and the driver took off. No one was injured. The Kern County Fire Department responded to make repairs and turn off the water.
That is a lot of water. Well, it was National First Responders Day yesterday, and President Trump signed off on creating a new commission he says will help police. President Trump signed the commission into law yesterday. The commission will look at various issues like mental illness, substance abuse, and homelessness. It will also study best practices in recruiting and training officers. According to the guidelines, the commission will then compile a report with recommendations, which will be given to the president in a year. The White House also says the president is making surplus military equipment available to law enforcement.
Locals bid farewell to one of the community's most beloved and heroic souls. World War II veteran U.S. Army Private Henry Oshner died at his home in California City last month. The local war hero who landed behind Nazi lines on D-Day was remembered yesterday with a very special tribute. During World War II, he helped to liberate French villages and a Nazi labor camp. In 2017, he received France's National Order of the Legion of Honor. Today, his community honored him, or rather last night, at the Community Church of California City. After, there was a motorcycle procession to Bakersfield National Cemetery, followed by a reception at the American Legion Post. The family was present and asked the Patriot Guard riders to carry his hat. Their ride captain says he is privileged to be part of the remembrance because veterans like Oshner pay the ultimate price. He says he feels honored to have been invited by the family and adds that he has attended other veterans' memorials, but this one is dear to his heart.
But there are certain ones that stand out, and this one stands out, and I'll remember it till I die.
And the wish granting continues for Strata Credit Union. Strata Credit Union is granting 70 wishes to celebrate its 70th anniversary, and yesterday, the credit union presented a check to Minter Field Air Museum in Shafter. The museum preserves old warplanes, helicopters, and cars. They run only on donations, according to the museum's board chairman. He says the donation will help them house new items coming to the museum.
Strata came in and donated some money so that the museum can go forward on projects that we have.
This was wish number 53 granted by Strata. You can check out some of the museum's toys yourself, by the way. The second annual Wings and Wheels is happening on Saturday. It starts at 9 a.m. Admission is just $5 for adults and free for veterans.
And we are just 2 days away from Halloween. That means it's almost time for our Sunrise Spooktacular.
Yeah, the 17 News at Sunrise crew, we're hosting our annual event this Thursday. All the fun kicks off at 5 a.m. right outside our studio, and there's going to be giveaways, candy, hot chocolate, coffee for the adults, and a Halloween costume contest.
You'll have a chance to win prizes like Disneyland tickets, a bike from Snyder's, and much more. It's happening right outside our studios, Halloween morning from 5 to 7 a.m. We hope to see you there.
You know, every time we have this event, you're just always like, oh, it's going to be really cute to see the kids' costumes and stuff. It is unbelievable, though.
They put some time and effort into what they're doing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is just always unbelievable to see how much work goes behind these costumes and blows us away every single time.
Or what they come up with, too.
What they come up with. And I have to tell you, the judges have such a difficult task picking the winners. So it is a job I definitely don't want to have.
No. All right, 5:25 now. With devastating fires comes support for the affected community.
What one rideshare company is doing to help people get where they need to go after a fire.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back. Uber is offering free rides for people impacted by the wildfires here in the state. The rideshare company says people can get 2 free rides, up to $20 each, to and from evacuation areas in Los Angeles and Sonoma counties. To request, all you have to do is enter the promo code CALFIRERELIEF19 in the payment section of your Uber Rider app.
Instagram will block posts about suicide after facing pressure to stop showing graphic content. It all started earlier this year when British teen Molly Russell killed herself after looking at harmful posts. Her father blamed his daughter's death on Instagram, saying the social media platform doesn't prevent teens from viewing harmful content. A public outcry ensued and Instagram reduced the number of problematic posts. But Sunday, Instagram took further steps to keep users safe. It plans to ban renderings, drawings, and memes that show suicide or any other self-harm. Accounts that share graphic content also won't be recommended. The company says so far it has reduced the visibility of more than 830,000 pieces of harmful content. The Facebook-owned company says users can post their stories of recovery, which can help some people, but those can also be harmful and triggering to others.